Hey there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All educational videos and tutorials YouTube channel. We are continuing with learning GameMaker Studio 2, learning drag and drop blocks, and in this video today we will try to learn destroy instance block, what it is doing in GameMaker Studio 2. So let's go to GameMaker Studio 2. Our scene so far: very simple, player moving left, right, up and bottom, no interactions with its environment or other objects. From other objects we have only this red spike as our enemy, but it has no interactions with player as we just said. So let's try to change it. So what I want to do in this video today, I want to make this player die, make this player destroys itself when it touches this spike, any of these spikes, red ones. So for example, if this spike is falling like this, touching this white square, our player will die. It will destroy itself from the screen. So let's try to code it. So I need to code some kind of interaction and to find some kind of destroy event, destroy block. First of all, let's analyze what the first thing is here. The first thing to find is the collision. When two objects, players, enemies, whatever, sprites or whatever you have on the screen, when they touch each other, it is called collision in game development in general. It doesn't it's not important if it's in Unity, Unreal, GameMaker Studio, Scratch or wherever. It's mostly used, the term which is used for that is mostly collision. So two objects collide on the screen like this. The red triangle is colliding with the white square like this. When they are not touching, they are not colliding. And there are a few issues important with that. We can see when I click on these objects on the screen, we see their sprites, but we have some other stuff which is also very important other than how they look on the screen, and that is what kind of collision they have around themselves, collision masks. Again, it's called collision mask in most of the game engines, in game development tools. You can find it here with in GameMaker. When you click on the sprite, collision mask is defined there, so you can click on this tab here, this drag and drop arrow, and it will open collision mask menu, where you can see that you can change this collision mask, which is shown in shadow, dark gray colors around our sprite. So currently it is a square shaped rectangle, as we can see here, type rectangle, which doesn't make much sense for this player, and that means that even when my square is here, let me toggle this snap. So when they collide like this, when my player is on the left, the white square, and the enemy is the red triangle on the right. So for example, I see they're not touching themselves here. The red triangle, we can see he is not touching, the enemy is not touching the white square, the player. But the GameMaker and most of the game engines will see this as collision. Why? Because collision mask, which we can see by clicking on the player and the enemy, is with this blue border. It is in the shape of the square, and this one you can see it very you must be concentrated to see it. It's blue around this white square, but it's fully around the square, and this red triangle has the blue around, all the way around it as a square, which makes no sense. So this red triangle has its own collision mask like blue square, and its collision mask is touching the square, so now GameMaker sees that as collision. So GameMaker looks at this border as at this collision mask, not the sprite. So you have to understand that and try to remember it as fast as possible, because it will bug you all the way if you don't clear that in your mind. So again, when you want two objects, two sprites, or whatever you have on the screen to collide, to interact with each other, you have to be aware to watch out for their collision masks, not how they look. So for example, I can make let me make this to make it even clearer. So I will make a new sprite, for example, for coin. I will call this SPR coin, and I will edit image and make it a simple yellow circle like this. I will move it to the center and like this, and I will paint it in yellow. Like this. So this is a sprite for my coin, which I will use for my game. We will do that maybe in this video, maybe in the next one, never mind. So for example, I will now make the object for it. We have the sprite, but the sprite itself is nothing. You have to define the obj coin. So I will make right click, make the new object, call it coin, and then add sprite coin to it, and now I can add that one to the scene with click and dragging it like this. So let's see how it goes here, and let's see in my sprite coin how my collision mask looks. Okay, so again you can see how GameMaker was smart enough to make collision mask only around this yellow circle, so it's not going all the way too much around it. But I can do it myself. For example, I can go here, instead of automatic, I will make it crazy like this, crazy big. So now let's see what happens in my scene. So now it's even clearer. So for example, now now when the player is here not touching the yellow circle, the coin, the GameMaker will think actually it is touching it, because its collision masks interacts with the player. Collision mask is too big here for this coin, so I will make it automatically smaller like this. GameMaker is smart enough to do it itself, but sometimes if you need it very precise, you can use precise, and now it's really around this yellow circle, so you don't even see how precise it is. Or you can use some other shapes, diamond and so on, but you have to be aware. GameMaker warns you even here in collision mask menu that will slow your game. It says slow in these brackets, so precise is slower than rectangle, and diamond is slow, ellipse is slow. So rectangle is the most simple and efficient way for most of the games. We will use that. Talking too much again. 9 minutes. Okay, that was intro. And now finally let's code this spike to interact with our player object. So I will put this here where it was, over the player. The player will be down to get some time for this to fall on him, and I want to code this. I want to code when this red triangle is falling and touching. That means when it has collision with the white rectangle, make this white rectangle, the player disappears, make him die. So let's try to do it. I want to code that in obj spike. I want the obj spike to be interactive to decide when it is touching the player, so I need to find some kind of event which will help me do that. Events, again, we have told about that before. Events are the first step to define some kind of action, some kind of decision in GameMaker. Then when you do that, when you add event, then you can add blocks. But first of all, you have to add some kind of event. So we are asking the question, is there some kind of collision between triangle and the square? And there is some collision group, so let me click on that. Okay, collision objects, I want to interact with object 2, so let me pick that. Okay, so again, a GameMaker and the people who make it, they made it, they were they made all of these events and blocks to simplify our work and use of GameMaker. So with one click here, collision objects, and then picking which object I want to collide with, we have defined some kind of collision between this triangle and some kind of object 2, which is player in our game. And we need to now say to GameMaker what kind of what do I want to do when the collision happens. So again, we have this only decided that we want to define some kind of action. Okay, when the red triangle is colliding, when object 2 do, and now we are trying to define what is GameMaker supposed to do for us. Okay, so in my case, I want to destroy this white object. That means destroying instance. We have seen that here in our thumbnail, destroy instance. So I will try to find that one, destroy, and again there is instances, destroy instance. So I will click and drag it here. Again, before using it, so okay, I maybe haven't explained that, or I have done that maybe before, not sure. Difference between objects and instances. Object is when we define object here, it is like some kind of cookie cutter, some kind of parent or whatever you want to see it. Cookie cutter is the object, it is like something higher, and when you click and drag that object into the scene, it becomes instance. So for example, I have obj player 1 and obj 2 objects. They are like cookie cutters, but when I click and drag them here, they become cookies. I'm cutting cookies with my cookie cutter, so they are now instances. And that means obj2 is cookie cutter, which I have defined some rules in it, and when I drag and drop it on my scene, it becomes cookie with those parameters. I can drag and drop as much cookies and make as much cookies as I want on my screen from my cookie cutter, but there will always be one cookie cutter, one object, and as many instances as we want. In my case, I don't want 100 players on the screen moving the same way. I want only one, but for example, we have used that for obj spike. We click and drag it here, and that way we made lots of instances on the screen. Okay, let me make one or two more instances, that's it. Okay, so I wanted to explain that just for you to be clear. Okay, if you are confused here, how did you know that you should search for instance or whatever? Now you know the difference between objects and instances. You mostly work on instances, very rarely on objects. You can also do that in GameMaker, but mostly our code will be defining instances, finding instances, destroying, creating instances, and so on. That's the first thing. And the second one, even if you forget that, or you still don't understand this difference between instance and object, just type destroy. I hope that makes sense. We want to destroy the player, so destroy, type destroy in toolbox, search for drag and drop blocks, and it will show up. some kind of blocks, and you can find and pick what you need. In my case it is destroy instance, and I have click and drag it to the left. You can even add a couple of those, as we see now. I need only one. Okay, destroy instance, and let me see what else do I have here. I have only one drag and drop menu here, and X to delete this. I don't want to delete it, so let me pick what do I want to delete. To destroy, I can destroy self, I can destroy other, I can destroy all, and I can destroy objects. In my case, if I use self, that means I will destroy myself, which is red triangle. I can destroy other and then pick what other is. I can destroy all, meaning all the objects, instances in the scene. As much as I know, we can try that. And I can destroy specific objects. In my case, that is obj2, and that is what I want. You can pick whatever you want here, and I want obj2. That's my player. So simple as that. After 16 minutes. Okay. But we had to learn all the stuff to make it clear. Okay, so I have coded something. Let's see if it works. Now when the red triangle is touching the white rectangle, when it makes a collision, it will destroy it. Yeah, cool, it works like that. Cool, I like that. What I don't like here, maybe we should make it a little bit slower to see it better, so I will lower this gravity force to 0.1 instead of 0.15. Yeah, it now clear. Now it's clearer to see, and let me maybe just test destroy all to see if now it should destroy all the red triangles. Also, let's see if it works. I think it will do that. Even it should even destroy the yellow coin also. Cool, it works. So you can you see that works too. So you can use that, for example, for, I don't know, maybe making some kind of explosion, some kind of bomb, nuclear bomb, where it destroys all, or all the other is again picking something else from your code which we haven't used yet. That means other object in our code, other instance. Self, let's try self. Let's see now. The red triangle should destroy itself, and the white rectangle should stay on the screen, so only red triangle should disappear. Yeah, cool. That's also cool. Maybe this is for example, that can be useful for some kind of, I don't know, maybe some kind of rain effect or something which falls on your head and breaks but doesn't kill you, like lower damage and so on. So self, other, all, we have done it all, and maybe I can even combine them. So for example, I want to add two destroy effects. The first one which will say destroy object to player, and the second one which will say destroy yourself. That means destroy the red triangle. So now both the red triangle and the white square will disappear. Cool, I like that. This is where we will stop here. I hope you did understand this one. This one is very important for games in general. You can use it in so many ways and on so many games. For example, you can now, I hope you understand how to use it, and now you can use it to make this a white square. Our player collects this yellow circle, the coin, by clicking it, by colliding with it like this. When it hovers over it, do what? Destroy the instance of coin. So you can code that on yourself, I hope. If not, we will do that probably in some of the next videos, because we will try to make this game more complex. Simple as that. So let me save the project, and that's it for this video. I hope to see you in next one. I hope you learned lots of stuff now. Collisions, collision mask, collisions, adding new blocks, instances, objects, and so on. So it was a little bit longer than expected, as always, but we have covered lots of stuff. See you soon, and keep on learning, keep on making games.